What's up, truckers? This is Damon coming at you with another video. And since this one's going to be about truck stops, I figured what better place to start than the world's largest truck stop on Iowa 80. Now this truck stop was built here in 1964. There's a little message from the Moon family saying this is dedicated to the generations of truck drivers, their families, and people who work here that have built this destination. It's been a great adventure being part of your lives, and we thank you, Moon family, that you gave us Iowa 80. Okay, now this truck stop has everything. If you look here, you can see there's actually a full truck inside the lobby area. And then this is the place you would want to come when you just want to get all of your truck swag. Check this place out. So obviously they've got some of the basic trucker needs you have here, but then they have all kinds of other cool things you can get too. Like check out the steering wheel covers, check out the swag for your lights. If you have a Kenworth vehicle like mine. But what if you have a Freightliner or a Peterbilt? Man, they've got what you need here. There's some cool shift knobs, and there's a whole other collection and assorted thing of shift knobs here. And as we go down the aisle, you can see here, we've got a great light collection. Now upstairs on the second floor, you've got all kinds of little knickknacks and things you can get. There's some restaurants and areas up there. No truck stop is complete, of course, without laundry services and some cool decorations to look at. But here's my favorite. What? The Truckers Theater? Let's go check this place out. Okay, so the Truckers Theater is really just a medium-sized television screen with a bunch of chairs set up so you can watch TV. Okay, I take it back, that was not the theater room. That's the theater room. But as you can see, it's closed. Thanks, COVID. Now, most truck stops have one restaurant you can go to, but as you can see here at Iowa 80, you've got a selection of several restaurants. Wendy's being one of my favorite fast food restaurants. But man, Orange Julius, I'm sure to stop there. So that's the Iowa 80 truck stop. And if you're ever, of course, on 80, you can stop there and check that out. And there's tons of other cool truck stops that I hope to highlight as I visit those in the future. But let's just talk about how you would be able to survive generally going to a truck stop.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
When you go to a truck stop, there are generally 4 reasons that we go. The first is for refueling. These are the 4 R's of a truck stop, we'll call them. First is refueling, and that's both for our truck and ourselves. And the second is for a restroom break. We all need that. The third thing we go for would be repairs. And then, of course, the 4th reason we go to a truck stop is our rest that we have to take. We all need that 10-hour reset at some point. So let's talk about the first thing, refueling. When you first pull into a truck stop, the first thing you want to look out for is yourself to be patient. Why? Because you're not the only person that needs to refuel. You're not the only person trying to get into a truck stop here. So just be patient. There's going to be a bunch of people ahead of you. Set your clock there to off duty, and then get ready to head on up to the fuel aisle when it opens up. When you're fueling, make sure you have a rewards card. I have a rewards card for all kind of the major truck stops, Love's and Flying J, Pilot, and I think it's the Ultra One for TAs. And you know, Werner, of course, pays for our fuel, but the rewards are ours. And the rewards are super important. Why? Because you get free showers, you get free drinks, like free coffee and things, when you use the rewards points, and that's all yours to have. So Werner pays for the fuel, which is nice, but of course I get to benefit from the rewards from that. And then you also gain points in addition to free refills on your drinks, free showers. You can use those points in Subways or the McDonald's or the Burger King, whatever restaurant is in that truck stop. You can actually use your points on getting food and drinks there too. So it's a nice place to not only refuel your truck, but you get, you know, refuel for yourself as well. Also want to make sure that you do set your DOT timer to on-duty fueling. And that's something that DOT will check. Some people just set that clock to off duty and then they fuel when they're off duty. It's a big no-no. make sure that you're on duty fueling, and generally they're looking for about 15 minutes that you're at the fuel aisle. Sometimes I can get in and out of there in 9 minutes, and I just let that thing roll just a little bit longer because really they want you about 15 minutes in the fuel aisle. When you pull up and you get to the fuel aisle, you want to make sure a couple things. One, that you have pulled up sufficiently enough. I've had it before where I pulled up and I was close enough to get the fueling in or to get my fuel tanks filled, but when I needed my DEF tank filled, I didn't have enough room to stretch because the DEF tank pump, I should say, was on the back side and not the front side like it usually is. So anyway, I had to actually get back in the truck, start it up, reverse it a little bit, and you want to make sure you don't have to do that if necessary. Last thing I would say while you're fueling is make sure that you fuel the passenger side completely first. I've also done it where, you start the driver's side fueling first, so the driver's side's done first. And then of course I finish that up, pop the thing back in, go over to the passenger side, and well, it had stopped. I didn't get to fuel my passenger side. Now, of course, the thing had stopped. I couldn't get it restarted again. I had to call Werner, have them lift the 1-day kind of restriction on fueling that you have. So anyway, make sure that you get that passenger side done first, and then put that pump back, and then you go in and finish your driver's side. When you're all done, pull forward and pull fully up to the yellow line. Why? Because if you don't pull all the way up, then it's possible that the truck behind you cannot pull in and get proper placement so that he can fuel his or her truck. The next thing would be restrooms. Of course, this is one of the things that people don't like to talk about, but we're all adults here. And let's face it, the trucker life, the bane of the existence is being in the public restroom, but it's what we have to do. So how do you survive restrooms? So for the bathroom, I'll also bring with me a shoulder bag. And in that shoulder bag, I will have with me all of my items that I need, right? I got my toothbrush in there. I got my toothpaste. I got my wet wipes. I got things that I need for the restroom. And I would say, don't be afraid to bring that stuff in. I was a little embarrassed at first when I would kind of walk in with a shoulder bag and no one else had it. And then I realized, no, man, this is my life. This is what I do. And there are things that I need that are in this bag and I'm going to use them. So yeah, no shame. When you go there, first thing you do, make sure you clean the toilet seat. Yes, clean your toilet seat. It's a public restroom. You don't know what kind of fungus the other person has going on. You don't want to sit on that. No, okay? So here's what you do. Get your paper towel. You wet the paper towel, put some soap on it. You go in, also take in with you a dry paper towel. So you clean that thing and then you dry it with your dry paper towel. And if you, by the way, don't have access to paper towels, just use your wet wipes that you bring in with you. Now you can, of course, also use the little dispensers they give you to cover the toilet seat. But again, those things aren't good enough unless that toilet seat's clean ahead of time. While you're doing your business, make sure you are not holding conversations. I don't know what it is about people who maybe they're uncomfortable in this kind of public space. So they think that, well, it's kind of like if I'm in an elevator. If I talk to somebody, then I can relieve some of the tension. No, listen, this is not an elevator. Okay, we're doing private things in a public space and you don't have to relieve the tension. What you have to do is be silent. Be quiet. That's what you need to do, okay? Don't try to have a conversation with me while I'm going to the restroom. I remember one time I was actually finished washing my hands and I dropped my coffee cup. And that thing made a huge noise. And the dude from inside the stall tried to give me some encouraging words. Don't worry, buddy, it happens to the best of us. I'm like, dude, I don't need your words of encouragement. Okay, what I need is your silence at this moment. Okay, don't try to relieve the tension. Just be quiet while you're in there. Before you leave the bathroom, wash your hands. I cannot tell you how many times I go to the bathroom and I see somebody or I hear someone flush the toilet, the stall opens, and they make a beeline right for the door. Maybe you're feeling uncomfortable, like that tension I talked about, that we're doing private things in a public space. Always wash your hands. It's the most disgusting thing. I wish this was an isolated incident. It's not, but it happens so frequently. I've gotten to a point where somebody will walk behind me and I'll know they're headed door, and I'll just say the word, please don't. Now, I know it may seem like I'm talking about like common bathroom etiquette things here, but I'm telling you guys, these are the things I have experienced on the road. So anyway, I know it seems kind of silly, and I hope this section at least is pretty funny and you're all getting a good laugh. But yeah, these things have actually happened to me. Showers, man. That is another reason we go to truck stops. Now, shout out to Loves, whose shower credits do not expire. I make sure that I actually fuel up at Loves because I know those shower credits don't expire. And the shame of it is, I might fuel up more at Pilot because some of my more favorite stores are the Pilots for the amenities they offer. Speaking of which, I'll play that video now and give a shout out to the Sturbridge, Massachusetts Pilot. It's a relatively new Pilot, but you'll see all the cool stuff they have to offer here. So back to showers. The nice thing about the showers are when you go to any one of these shower stalls and things, it's really kind of like your own private space. You do have your own private bathroom in there. You got your own private sink and so on in your own shower stall. And that's like yours for 10 to 20 minutes, however long you want to be in there. They do give you some towels. If you're kind of grossed out and not sure if you like, if you don't trust, I guess, them washing their own towels, you can always bring in your own towel. I carry a spare towel with me in the truck, but I generally am fine with using their towels. Do not take your shower while you're in the fueling line. That is just the most disrespectful thing, because you don't know the person behind you, their clock may be getting short, they may be pressed for time, they have to get in, they have to get out. And like I said, your showers, when you go in, you're going to use the restroom, you're going to brush your teeth, you're going to use a shower, it's going to take you 20 minutes. And you want to make sure that you do not block someone else in the fuel lines. So let's talk about repairs. It's just a fact of life that all our trucks, all our trailers will eventually need some kind of maintenance. So we will head in there and again, I would say be patient. Be patient. Repairs sometimes take longer than we expect. And again, you're not the only person that needs your truck or your trailer repaired. Be kind. You know, sometimes you'll find these folks, these maintenance guys, they'll actually help out for free. One time I went in, I had a trailer bulb that was out, and it wasn't just the bulb, it was the fact that the wire had become broken. I think it was the grounding wire. And so I didn't have anything to get it soldered up and fixed on the road. So I just pulled him real quick and just asked the guy, I was like, hey man, I was like, can you just take a look at this for me? And he actually stopped what he was doing. He was working on another vehicle, stopped what he was doing, came over, soldered my wire, took him all of 3 minutes, and I was in and out and gone. So be patient, be kind, and just understand that you know, these guys have lives and they're busy too. Next, rest. We all need to take our 10-hour reset somewhere. Now, as a company driver, we're not allowed to park on the side of the road on like on and off ramps. Sometimes at nighttime, you'll see a lot of tractor trailers parked by the on and off ramps. They're not allowed to park on the highway on the side of the road, but on the on and off ramps, they are in the shoulder. As a Werner company driver, I am not allowed to do that. So I've got to find a spot in a rest area or one of these truck stops. Now, generally speaking, if you try to get a spot after 7 p.m., you're probably not going to find one. These spots tend to fill up pretty quick. I guess truck drivers tend to start pretty early, but then that means they have to shut down early as well. So if it gets to be like 5, 6, 7 o'clock, it's going to be very difficult to find a spot. Now, you can use some of these truck apps that are out there. I happen to use Trucker Path and, of course, the Truck Map app. They have a little feature where drivers can report how many spots are left at the truck stop they're at. And so you can see some spots are full or whatever. So it's really helpful, but it's also kind of flawed, right? It's dependent upon trucks properly reporting. And then if you're looking at a report from 30 minutes ago, stuff may have changed in 30 minutes. So like any other tool that we truckers use, it's imperfect, but it can be really helpful to know what's available and what isn't. So if you get there and stuff's full, you're gonna have to either double park or just what we call stack up. It's just a part of life, especially, again, as a company driver, I can't park anywhere else, so I've got to make a spot sometimes when there isn't a spot. The big rule there is just make sure you don't block an entrance or an exit and that trucks can still get in and out of the spots they're in easily. Be patient when other trucks are parking. You may think you're an awesome trucker. You may forget when you were a brand new trucker learning how to back for the first time. A lot of these guys in truck stops, because they can't park on the side of the road, they are newer truckers, right? So they're still learning how to back and they're not as confident with it. I remember there was this one guy, took him seriously like 45 minutes to an hour to park. And that wasn't his fault. It was because there was very limited space to park, or very limited distance with which to back, I should say. And there were big, huge rocks the truck stop had put there on the other side. So he could only go so far. And so what was cool about it is, and this is another tip, is be helpful to other drivers. If you see somebody else struggling, instead of getting angry at them, get out and help them. There were like 4 or 5 truckers that got out of their trucks and kind of were lined up on each side to help him, so he knew exactly if he was getting too close to one side and going to hit something, they would tell him to stop, or that kind of thing. But you're going to have to be patient. Not everybody has the backing skills that you have. Bobtails. So bobtail obviously is when you don't have a trailer on the back of your vehicle, and sometimes I will see bobtails pull all the way back into a spot and they just back all the way in. And I think the idea is they're trying to be helpful by backing all the way in so that it's easier for someone on either side of them to back in without worrying about hitting something. But to me, all that does is get the hopes up of another trucker with a trailer as they're driving by. It's like, oh, look, there's an open spot. And then you pull up and get parallel with it and realize, oh, that guy's just pulled all the way back into the spot. So when I bobtail, which is very infrequent, of course, as a company driver, but when I bobtail, I try not to park in those spots because it's easier for me to double park or stack up as a bobtail than it is for a guy with a 53-foot trailer. So my encouragement is for those bobtails who pull back, if you're going to pull in the space, don't back all the way up. Back up a little bit, to give that inexperienced backer a little bit of leg room, but not so much that we can't see you there. And then if possible, don't park in that spot at all. Save those spots for guys with trailers and just double stack or double park somewhere else for them. Lastly, I think that the general key for just surviving these truck stops is, again, just don't be selfish. Think about others. You're not the only truck driver on the road. I see this all the time too. It seems like when we're stopped or when we're at a truck stop or when, we're at a rest area or whatever, then truckers are generally very kind to each other. But then it's like when we're on the road, we lose that somehow because all of us are fighting the clock, right? All of us are trying to get to our destination as quickly as we possibly can. And we're upset because we don't think that person knows what they're doing on the road. Hey, you swerved a little bit, or hey, you're driving in the wrong lane. Don't you know that's the passing lane? But man, we just need to be kind to each other, not only in truck stops, but on the road too, because we are all there to help each other out. We're all trying to do the same thing, right? We're all on this journey. So we have to remember from whence we've come and remember where we're all headed to. And remember that we're here to help each other along the way. All right, guys, thanks for watching this trucker video. Would you please smash that like button, drop the hammer on the subscribe button, and if you have any future videos that you want to see, ideas, topics, things like that, just leave them in the comments, and we'll talk to you next time.